Hey, welcome to a special episode of Awkwardly Awesome Podcast with Jason. I, I'm your podcast host usually, but today, I'll be talking with you, about a subject that has been a huge part of my life and I think impacts many people's lives, and it's so in, invisible that we don't that we can feel all alone in it. It's so invisible that we can feel all alone in it. And it has impacted my life so much more than my speech impediment or coordination difference ever did. And, and that is stress, or rather how I dealt with stress. So stress in relation to life is absolutely essential. If a car is if we're crossing a street and a car comes out of nowhere speeding towards us, stress we feel stress instantly and step back, and that could save our lives. And that you can think of many instances where where noticing stress in your body and reacting quickly can be very important. Like, I keep thinking of car examples, but but someone slams on the brakes in front of you and you notice those headlights are the not headlights, those tail lights, and react instant react instantly and avoid an accident, and that's really good. Stress keeps us safe. Stress in and of itself is such a vital part of staying safe, staying alive, staying vibrant, doing what we want to do. And so this is the first thing I want you to think about, because it's so important when dealing with when learning how to navigate effectively to live the lives we want to live with stress. The with stress. The first thing to realize is that stress is not the enemy. Stress is part of us as much as any other part of us. And but then but then, like any great thing in life, it, stress has positives, but it also can have profoundly negative impacts on our life. Profoundly negative impacts. We can become so attuned to avoiding occasions where we might thanks so much, Beth. Thanks, Bethy. We can become so attuned to avoiding occasions where we may feel stress that we start thinking about our lives in terms of avoiding stressful situations, and instead of thinking about our lives in terms of how can we develop our capabilities. And I for decades of my life, the last thing I wanted to do was public speaking. I remember in college where I met Beth and we became friends, and then in grad school, like whenever the teacher said or the professor said part of the coursework this semester is going to be is involves you giving a presentation, I would be like, oh no, I'm not good at presentations. That's the last thing I want to do. I don't know what to say up there. I'm going to sound stupid. And I went through the whole list of why I didn't want to give the presentation. And and yes, some of my reasons would sound really good to me. Have you ever noticed that when you're avoiding something, the reasons you tell yourself can sound really good and even virtuous and sound really impressive. But I mean, were the reasons I was giving myself for not seeking public opportunities valid? Like, did public speaking opportunities really present a threat to my health and well-being that I made them out to be in my mind? And could I really not be a good public speaker? Obviously, no. The answer is the answer to that is no. Like actually doing public speaking for 15 years has very much debunked those reasons. But that didn't mean that at the time I I wasn't totally convinced by them. Beth says avoiding things sometimes makes more stress than just doing the thing. It's so true, and I'm going to get to that to your point in a minute, Beth. But so 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 I'll get to your point in a minute. But back to what we were talking about for a sec. Do we really know ourselves and our capabilities as well as we think we do? And to start answering this question for yourself, think about the things you secretly want to do in life. The things that when that oh no, it's a great point. I'm just just getting to it, Beth. The think about the things you really want to do in life, that when you get to be in your 80s or 90s, you will look back on your life and say, "Hey, I'm glad I, I did that." Are there any of those things that you are avoiding right now because you are telling yourself that you're not capable of doing that thing? I know there are still things that I'm avoiding because I've convinced myself that I'm not capable of them. But is that really true? Is that really true? Nope. Shoot. Okay, I'm getting this. On to Bethy's point, avoiding things sometimes makes more stress than just doing the thing. This is so true. Like I, I found that when I have myself in the box of a career, in a box of a career, and even though I enjoyed the career, I even though I enjoy my past career working in group homes, homes a lot. I'm sorry, that's very unprofessional. I enjoy my past career of working in group homes a lot, but I also thought I wasn't capable of doing anything else. So I was avoiding the other things I wanted to do with my career, and you always Beth, that added all kinds of stress. What are you avoiding that is adding stress to your life right now? Speaking of avoiding, and I'm going to give you a whole shot of this for a minute. When I was a teenager and in early high school, I had just such a limited perception of who I could become, and it did make me miserable, and sometimes like in these photos, I'm obviously showing the misery and the awkwardness and how I'm dressed and stuff, but 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 oftentimes we hold that misery in, and it becomes invisible to other people besides us. Yeah, it becomes miserable to the outside world, but if we're holding the uncertainty of being burdened with worry, the frustration of not allowing ourselves to do what we really want to do because we think we'll fail at it, and just self doubts about what we say and our actions that keep coming up chronically, that can make us really miserable on the inside. And So then the question comes up as Bess brilliantly says, what would you do if you couldn't fail? And it's a great question because we limit all what we do so much out of not wanting to fail at it. But this question also comes with complications because when we really go for what we want, that will definitely. I mean, mistakes. Even if we try our best, we know mistakes are most often part of the process. Who really wanted to learn to drive, but never made even one mistake while learning to drive. Most of us have made many mistakes learning to drive and many mistakes as drivers, and driving mistakes something we want to make. No, not in the least. Not in the least. So 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 it comes down to, at least for me, what are we willing to do our imperfect best at? What are we willing to do our imperfect best at? And I'm going to read this because it's a different way of looking at how we respond to stress and how we respond to life. Even when we try our best, even when we try our best, this isn't talking about slacking off or being late or having moments of laziness or anything like that, even though that all is very much a part of the human experience and a part of all of our lives sometimes. But even when we try our best, mistakes and imperfections will happen. When we do our imperfect best, we accept these mistakes as part of the process. We accept these mistakes as part of the process. But notice it doesn't the definition doesn't stop that. It's not like, well, I made a mistake. It's part of the process. I'm doing my imperfect best. No, the definition actually continues. In this part gets really challenging. Learning from them, and leveraging them where possible. So doing our imperfect best is just, it's not about simply acknowledging my mistakes and saying, "Oh, I made a mistake. I did my imperfect best," even though that's a huge step because a- after we make a mistake, it's tempting to want to deny the mistake. Doing an imperfect best isn't only about accepting mistakes as part of the process. It's about the humility to accept we made a mistake and learn from it and to to um to do something with that learning to for things to go better next time. Let's see what all these brilliant people are saying. Then he goes says, I think you look great. Did you think you were judged by your speech? Yes, it's a great question, Jenny. Yeah, and thank you. Yes, I did think I was judged by my speech. And and isn't this being human? I mean, for me, I thought I was judged by my speech. What do you think you're judged by? Um, and people can pick all sorts of things about the physical appearance or the circumstance or basically anything and then think other people are judging them by that thing they are worried about. But do you know Jenny and Tim and Beth and all the others listening? The main person who is judging me for the sound of my voice. Can anyone guess who it is? Please comment. Who is who is the biggest person judging me negatively for the sound of my voice? Pl- please comment. Who was it? Um, can any anyone get it? It was me. I was the main person judging me for the sound of my voice. Ding ding ding! The prize goes to Jenny Gold. She said, "You, yeah, yeah." Good job, good job, Jenny. In oh hi Jenny. In speech equals talking. Yeah, you're so right, Jenny. Speaking to a group, even if it's a stadium for 50,000 people, it simply is talking. It's having a conversation. In this case, with 50,000 people. In the case of the example, but in so much in life, so much we want to do in life is really a variation of something we've done before, but it's new to us. It might take more skills. It might take practice. We're all sudden if we can do it correctly. There might be steps involved. So we just inflate it in our mind to become this thing that is impossible for us to do. But you're so right, Jenny. At the end of the day, giving a speech for anyone does equal talking. It e- does simply equal talking. Yes, there's lots of other stuff involved, but it does equal talking. So sometimes when we find ourselves making so many assumptions about our capabilities and telling ourselves, no, I can't do that. It's time to come back to the basics and go, hey, what do I already know how to do in relation to what I want to do, and how can I expand upon it? So I have to, um, so this slide looks awfully random. I was speaking at a college earlier this week. And I'll tell you more about that later. But the point of the slide that I is that both teams could do the imperfect best if they one came out and played, and two if they learned from the mistakes they made during the game and tried to do better next time. So often we think that if we win at something we did it to perfection, no need to improve. And if we lose at something, we failed. But really, winning in both when we win, when we lose, basically all the time we can do our imperfect best, because the losing team in this instant learn things, if they're paying attention, learn things they could do better next game, but the winning team also did. Oh, stress. We'll come back to that. Who else is here? And sometimes with the stuff we're talking about when I stress is when no one can see it, but it's talking ourselves, but it's busy busy making us feel anxious, and we're busy making up stories about why we can't do what we want to do, even if it's as simple as going up to and talking to that person at a party we want to. Um, sometimes another way of of working with stress, instead of letting it just tell us no, 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 is is by having fun. And Tim Sorwan, and the part of the fun is saying his name wrong all the time. So Tim Sorwan and I will always doing podcasts, doing lives and there's a lot of stress in that. So or there's only some stress in that. So we make jokes like we got into paging each other, paging Jason Freeman, paging Tim, paging Spam, and paging Shaman. And even if I'm stressed at this moment, not knowing where this podcast is going to go next, which I'm not. But if I was, paging Shaman would bring falling off my chair. Paging Shaman would bring a smile to my face. And sometimes that space a smile, that space of a little laughter, that space of lightness helps us start to think about the things we are stressed out about differently, and maybe gives us an avenue forward where we might have said no to something before. Angela, we are our own worst critic. At least we can be. I like to this is just coming to me now, but what about if we can be, if we are capable of being our own worst critic, might we be also be capable of also being our greatest champion? But at least for me, Angela, you're exactly right. My default setting is being stressed out and being my own worst critic. Definitely my default setting. And so let's, since we're talking about stress, this definition is from the American Psychological Association, I think. But stress is a normal reaction to everyday pressures. A normal reaction. A normal reaction. So again, the enemy isn't stress in and of itself. It's part of our lives. It's part of why we're alive today. It's part of why I'm doing this Facebook Live and why you are listening and commenting. Stress is a normal reaction to everyday pressures, but can become unhealthy when it upsets your day to day functioning. Stress involves changes affecting nearly every system of the body, influencing how people feel and behave. Do you ever have that where you're so excited about, you think of something you want to do, and you're so excited you're jumping up and down practically to do it, but then you start thinking, well, maybe it won't work, and maybe I'll fail at it, and maybe this, and maybe that, and maybe this, and pretty soon that same thing that you've been excited about is causing a knot in your stomach. It can happen so fast. Does anyone know what I mean? It can happen so fast. And Jenny says, I feel people are judging me because I'm using an electric wheelchair now. I can relate to, definitely can relate to feeling insecure about there being something different about me. In my case, my speech impediment. In 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 your case, you're feeling insecure because using an electric wheelchair is different than what many of the people around you do. But for both of us, it's realizing that the feeling that people are judging us, and this is so tough. I'm not saying it's easy. The feeling that people are judging us is different than people actually judging us. To know if people are judging us, we would have to ask everyone, and they would have to be completely truthful and say whether or not they're judging us. But in the absence of doing that, um, the sense that people are judging us is just a feeling unless we have some other concrete evidence. And can it be a very strong feeling? Yes, it can be a very strong feeling. But I'm saying this knowing that I mean people around the country and the world are inspired by my voice now. And this is the same voice that I thought people were judging me so harshly for. Like that was the truth in my head. It was the truth in my head, but it was not the truth in the world. It was the truth in my head, but it was not the truth for the people around me. And this stuff is challenging. I'm not saying it's easy. But but considering these challenging things and having these challenging conversations can give us new levels of freedom in our own lives because we can start to approach things differently and take different actions and get different feedback from people based on our actions and eventually like start to feel different in our lives. So this is why I'm having this conversation. Thanks for tuning in. Speaking of judging my voice, this next man who's a superstar will his comment be judgmental, I wonder. Brian Shulman, you're an inspiration, my dear friend. So as a teenager, even in college and beyond college, I might have met Brian and been in my head like Brian's judging my voice right now. But luckily, I met him in the last 2 or 3 years, and that's no longer what my first thought when I meet people that are judging me for my voice. And so Brian has a space to know me as a dear friend, to know me as an inspiration. If I had thought Brian was judging me, so then I acted all defensive and like I was being um, judged, I might have never showed up for Brian in an inspirational way. Life is so challenging because the interplay between what we're thinking about ourselves and what we are afraid other people are thinking about us, and then the actions we take towards other people and how those actions affect them and affect what they actually think of us. It all can get so jumbled together and it can get so complex. Um, yeah, yes, yes, Jenny, we do ask ourselves limiting questions bl- based on how we see ourselves. Like, who will want to take me out on a date right now? If a person wants to date, dwelling on that question can be extremely painful. But I guess if someone wants to date, maybe a better question is a how can I find people interested in dating? Because there's a lot of people not interested in dating. A lot of people married, whatever. So one is how do we find people who are interested in what we want to do, and then the question becomes how I don't know what the question is exactly. How how can I be the most comfortable being me? So when I meet people who potentially want to date, they're like my comfort with myself helps them put them at ease with themselves. So it's a great question, my friend Jenny, and I'm getting this for for you, for me, for everyone. Like maybe a way to approach that is ask different questions. Brian says you never lose. You either win or you learn. I would add a thought possibility to that. Brian, you never lose. You either win or you learn, or you win and learn. Because we can learn in any circumstance, and you always learn, yeah, like you said. And if you remember that through every single thing you go through, you that you grow and just know that that is positive that comes from all that. You're always going to win. Beautiful, beautifully said. Angela says, I need to concentrate on more positive self talk. I'm great at complimenting others, but look down on myself all the time for not being good enough. Yeah, yeah, I hear it, Angela. I'm also great at complimenting others. I hope I am at least, but then the self talk sometimes gets negative. Um, maybe mm, may, maybe less and yeah, the self talk does sometimes get negative. I'm finding a way for me dealing with self talk, negative self talk. I'm trying this more. I used to spend hours upon hours arguing with my negative self talk, but now when I hear it coming on, and instead I try to focus on my next action. For example, right now, like I'm focused on giving this presentation, on doing the PowerPoint, on answering um on celebrating comments, on thinking about what to say next, and I just simply don't have time to be critical of how I'm doing on this presentation right now. And yes, Leia, I will maybe like, I should have said this and I should have said that, and and when I hear that, I might try to learn from some of that self-talk if it's something I can take forward and learn from. If it's not, I might just try focusing on my next action. We often don't feel like we have enough time in a day, but a while ago I realized that I was spending a lot of time in the day just going around and around and around things in my head instead of thinking, choosing, planning, and acting. Oh, thanks, Brian. Thanks, I appreciate it. Things may different, and 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 working with the stress in our lives and learning how to use it in the most positive way possible to accomplish what we want. It's just it's just not. I mean, it's not like one size fits all. Like you see the picture of the women doing yoga up there, but if you've tried yoga a few times and it's not what you love to do at all, and every time you think I should go to a yoga class, you feel miserable, then you feel guilty about not going, and then in a month you've spent a lot of time feeling guilty about not going to yoga, but haven't gone to any classes. Maybe your ticket to relaxing is something else, like running, or maybe it's painting, or maybe it's playing a guitar, or maybe it's something else. To find out how we can use stress the most effectively in our lives to achieve what we want. There's simply no one right answer to that. But each of us can pay attention, try new things that sound appealing, that sound relaxing, give them a fair shot, and if they aren't if we aren't finding any joy in them, if we aren't inspired by the challenge of the activity, maybe it's time to try something different. To try something different because the reason no the reason I am where I am today in my career and in my life of consistently feeling pretty done good and pretty darn productive. I mean, oh my gosh, I have my moments of stress and my moments being distracted by fear, but they're so far less, so much less than they used to be. But the reason I'm in the spot where I can do an hour Facebook Live and feel comments and work a PowerPoint and think about what to say, and it's not all pre-planned, and do it in a fairly relaxed fashion is because I found ways to relax that I love to do, and I love them so much that I do them consistently, and that's how I've gotten here. So finding what works for you in terms of what helps you manage stress, use your stress as a superpower instead of as a profound impediment. The only way to find those answers is to by keep is to keep asking the question, keep trying new things, keep learning from people. Maybe you apply some things from this video, because they sound good. Maybe you don't, but keep trying until you find what works. Keep trying until you find what works. Yeah, and stress is not unique. We all have stress. None of us is alone in it. For years, I felt like I was the most stressful person in America, if not in the world. But I felt that way because I wasn't talking to anyone about it. I was in my head about it, and we can make up all kinds of stories in our head. So no, you're not alone in it. And if you get to a point where you're so low and and you just don't know where to turn, and you're thinking of harming your brilliant and beautiful being that has so much potential that you're not seeing at the moment. That is a national suicide and crisis line is 98, and this holds a team sport. If you need help, we reach out, please. I did when I was in a desperate situation in junior high, and it saved my life. Please reach out if you need to. Okay, this is we're getting near the end of the hour, but but three ways of we have yeah, like Brian says, thank you. If your mind is playing tricks on you, call 988. In great point, Brian. And no, we have choice, have options in dealing with stress, and none of these options is right or wrong. And we might use all of them at some point, but you can see the three of the options as probably more avoided. Pause with it, deal with it. But when you, the point of the slide isn't this that these are only the only three options, or even the best ones, but when we feel stressed, when we feel anxious, so often we feel stuck, and and that stuck as one of the tricks our mind play on us. When the mind is telling us we're stuck, say, "Hey, mind," like, "Hey, Alexa," and ask the mind new questions. Say, "Hey, mind, I know you're feeling stuck, but consider a new question, like you ask Alexa new directions. Say, hey, mind, what are my options now? how can I find out my options? Is it just thinking about different options? Is it talking to someone? Is it searching the web? How can I find out my options? So I know you feel stuck, mine, but how can I find out my options? And another huge thing in talking about stress and learning to deal with stress levels in a way that empowers us is to own your yes and own your no. And it's just so important if we say yes to everything. Like I had a scam message in the last 24 hours that really got my goat, and I thought it was real. Luckily, I didn't give them any information. But if I said yes to that, that would have seriously altered my day to day. So it's life is about saying yes and no, and if you're saying a lot of yeses to things that you really want to say no to, that's causing stress. So think about that. Um so this is a brief example. And this is what being confident in a capability to figure something out versus not being confident can do. So wanted to ride my bike as a kid. I have no concentration at very little concentration at the time, a lack of coordination, and a lack of patience. And so I crashed my bike repeatedly, skinned up knees all over the place, band-aids needed every day, but I was determined. I'm going to learn to ride a bike, and eventually I did. And now I've ridden thousands of miles on a bike probably. But with recorder, when I got it in fourth grade, I in music class, I just said I can't do this. I don't want to do this. So I didn't practice. I didn't practice. Didn't practice. I didn't pay good attention in class. Uh, I hated the whole process. So guess what? I still have a story that I can't play a musical instrument. Is that story true? No, I could start playing a musical instrument today. I could start taking lessons today, and I could practice more and more and learn how to play a musical instrument well. But so just be really careful. Are you telling yourself what kind of story are you telling yourself? Is the result going to be that you eventually learn to do the thing you want to do, or is the result going to be that you convince yourself that you can't do the thing you want to do? Yeah, challenge yourself to take action. This is for both you and me. And our limitations are easy to assess. The only way to know our potential is to try. So true, we've been talking about that. And not just try, but as Yoda would say, do. And so it says your college experience is a unique opportunity to learn about others and yourself and full screen in addition to your course of study, of course. And I have this because I spoke at a university earlier this week and to incoming freshmen, and I used this PowerPoint and I hope I made some good points. I actually I know I probably did, but what showed the show is three young women, one sophomore and two juniors. I think I invited them up during my presentation and the one was had a one had a challenge of being an introvert. One had a challenge of dealing with anxiety. One had a challenge of dealing with dyslexia, and I invited them up, and they each told brief stories about the challenge in getting through it, and they're so in my book they're so courageous because they're bringing voice to the things we usually keep hidden, and and then they complimented the story I was telling and the points I was making um with my unique voice and unique situation. So talk about courage. I had the freshmen in the audience give them a standing ovation. It was really wonderful. So I do what I do not because these concepts of about stress and finding ways to cope with stress and finding ways to turn obstacles into opportunities. These are unnecessarily they're not necessarily the most challenging concepts in the world. They're not rocket science, but at the same time, they're frequently not talked about. Us humans frequently keep this stuff hidden. So what I do is I speak at colleges and universities, at high schools, middle schools, to businesses, to organizations like me that serve people who experience disabilities, to people like me experience disabilities. I speak to all these groups because this conversation, I believe, is so important to have. It's definitely can be life changing for people, and it can be life saving for people. After my presentation earlier in the week at the university, the person who had recommended me and said in the presentation said Jason, what your presentation did was to give context, give a roadmap, voice to these things that the freshmen might not be dealing with now, but they will deal with at some point. So, and that's such a good observation. We want to be proactive as we can about the stuff. So that when crisis comes into our lives, we have a roadmap. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're watching this live, and thanks for all the people who commented on the live, or whether you're watching this two, 2 or 10 or 20 years from now. Thanks for tuning in. Know that you're normal for having stress and anxiety. Know that you're normal for having doubts about doing all the things you want to do in life. And know that there are paths to using stress in a way that helps you deal with it well and perform as you want to perform and do the things you want to do in life. And we ask these questions in the experiment not only because it enhances our life, which it does, and that's crucially important, but as we ask these questions in the experiment, we're also better able to support the people around us and to contribute what we want to contribute to this world. Thank you very much. My name is Jason Freeman. My website is awkwardlyawesome.com. Reach out if you have questions, reflections, or want to talk to me about me potentially coming to serve an audience that you care about and that you love. Have a great day. Never timed this quite right. Have a great